Welcome to Satsang. So beautiful to be together. Avasparato bhaiya. Dhanyavad. I'm so sorry for how late we are starting tonight. I just really hope that all of you were in the Ganga Arati with us and watching the beautiful, beautiful children do the yoga dancing, which is how we got so late, because we were deeply enthralled watching all of these beautiful children do a very simple, in terms of the props, just a pole, an incredibly difficult, challenging actual yoga. ये बाहर देख लेना भी है. So I hope you were all there with us, witnessing it. If you were not, deep apologies that we are starting so late. But I do hope that you all come to the beautiful Ganga Arati in advance before coming into Satsang. And if you don't, you should. So it's a very sacred and a very divine way to shift from the day into the evening. Starting as always, with a question that's come in advance from our family all over the world, and then we'll open it up to any questions that anyone here has. What is the meaning of my suffering? What is the meaning of my suffering? It means that you are telling yourself a story about the why of your life that has you as the star player of this story, of this drama, and that has everything that's playing a part of your drama. For example, I'm walking down the street, I trip on a stone, I fall down and conk my nose on the ground, okay? There's some physical pain, actual physical reactions and responses to a bloody nose, to a stubbed toe, to a scraped knee. The physical body is sending signals of pain, but that's only pain, that's not suffering. What then ends up happening in suffering is I say, oh my God, I cannot believe it. Why me? Why me? Look at this. I finally had a job interview. First one I've had in 6 months. Now I'm going to go in looking like a bloody mess. Why does this always happen to me? Why does the universe not want me to get a good job? It's not fair. I've been trying and trying, and nothing is working for me. And on this day I finally have an interview, I have to fall down. So unfair. That's suffering. But you see where it's a story. What are the facts of the situation? Rock on the road. That is the beginning and the end, the sum total of the actual facts. Rock on road. And where have I gotten from rock on road? The universe hates me. I'll never get what I'm looking for. Everything is working against me. Life isn't fair. Now, in either case, I've got a black and blue toe, some scrapes on my knee, maybe a bloody nose. But if I don't bring the story in, it's something that can quickly be addressed. Yeah, I may have a bum knee for a little while, but some ice, some Neosporin, Band-Aid, Advil if necessary. Not going out jogging for a few days. The pain will go away. But the suffering is what kills us. Because the suffering is that which then makes me decide, forget it, I'm not even going to the interview. Like, obviously there's no way I'm meant to get the job now. Or we do go in, but we go in carrying this story of, the universe hates me. Look at what happened. Nothing is in support of my flowering and flourishing. And so naturally we don't make a very good impression. I mean, if you want to hire somebody, do you want to hire somebody who's already super negative and miserable before they've even started working for you? I mean, we know everybody has ups and downs, but ideally you want to hire somebody who you enjoy being around. You want to spend time with this person. You think they'll be good for the culture of your company, your organization. So then you don't get the job. And then it just reinforces your story. The universe is against me. Pain is not a choice. It's a biological mechanism. Suffering is a choice. Suffering is what I tell myself about the story. Take another example without even any physical pain. We planned a picnic. It was my birthday. I planned a picnic for all of my friends. We were going to go sit on the beach. I love the beach. We're going to enjoy a beautiful day on the beach, have a picnic, swim in the ocean. And it rains. It rains. Everything gets rained out. Story I tell myself, look at this. Look at this. Like, I never do anything nice for myself. I spend all of my time taking care of others. Now, on my birthday, one day that I actually plan something for me, look what happens. Look how the universe is against me. I do everything. And I can't even have a picnic for my birthday. I'm not meant to be happy. I'm just not supported by the universe. It's not even the rainy season. This guy's got a birthday in the rainy season and it's sunny on his birthday. The universe would never dare rain on his birthday because the universe loves him. Now it's the dry season. But me? Of course it's going to rain, right? Now, what is the fact of the matter? Rain. We had a rainy day. Beginning and end of the fact of the matter. could have been taken with joy. Wow, look at that. The universe chose my birthday as the day to nourish the world with water that it needs so badly. Look at this. The universe is crying in joy, celebrating that I was born, right? I mean, there's so many other ways. If you want to read a message into it, there's so many other ways to read messages. Or we remember that actually, not everything's about us. And actually, sometimes it just rains. And it has nothing to do with my birthday, nothing to do with what I had planned. It's just a rainy day. Like it's just a rock in the road. Suffering requires me to be in a story where it's all about me. The rock is there as the impediment to prevent me from getting the job I wanted. The rain is there to ruin the one day that I planned for my birthday. So suffering is all about a story. And what that means is that we've got all the power to change the story. Changing the story we tell ourselves is one of the most powerfully healing things you can do. I love it. It's something I do all the time. I'll give you one of my favorite types of personal examples. You're driving down the road, minding your own business, being a good defensive driver, a very calm driver, minding everything. Suddenly some guy cuts in front of you out of nowhere. You have to slam on your brakes. If you didn't, you would have hit this person. Now the adrenaline is pumping, the sympathetic nervous system is on. And the story most of us tell ourselves is, you idiot, right? And we start yelling and screaming. And we've got a full story for the day to anyone who would listen. You won't believe it. This guy, I almost died. Now, what I love to do in moments like that, because the truth is you have no idea who they are. They've sped off. It's over. The karmic threads that bound you together are over. They intersected for a brief moment. Now that person has sped off. You are going on your day. And I love to say to myself in moments like that, when I'm cordless kamkalidi. What I love to do in moments like that as I just feel a story start to begin. You can watch it happen. Oh my God, that guy. Who does he think he is? Oh my God, this. Oh my God, that. We do it all day long. If you really watch yourself, you'll see how we tell ourselves stories all day long. About each other, about the universe, about people we know, people we don't know. And I love to grab that moment as I just find myself starting to tell some story that sticks me in the center. Why the universe put this guy right in front of me. How this guy clearly had intended to give me a heart attack. And instead, to write a new story. And to say to myself, for example, maybe this guy 3 minutes ago got a phone call from a hospital that said, your son was just in a horrible car accident, is on the verge of death. If you want to see him alive, you've got 2 minutes to get to the hospital from wherever you may be. Now you see how a simple new narrative changes that guy from this idiot who almost killed you to somebody you want to follow to the hospital and hold his hand, clear the road for him, bring him lunch, see if there's something else you can do for him. See how suddenly it's no longer about you. And I have found that the end of suffering is when we can ideally stop telling these stories altogether. It's a rock. It's a rainy day. It's a guy driving fast. But if we have to tell stories in which we grab power to tell ourselves stories that are in alignment with how you want to feel. Has anybody at the end of the day come home ever from school or from work or from a really stressful day and said, I just want to watch a funny movie tonight? Or I just want to watch a funny TV show? Right? You have these moments when you come home and you just know I need something that's going to make me smile, it's going to make me laugh, it's going to give me a different perspective on the world. And that's your own self saying, I have spent all day long telling myself stories of suffering. Rather than waiting till you get home, rather than flipping through channels and seeing what movie or TV show somebody else has made that will make you smile or laugh, why not just tell yourself those stories during the day? Make up stories. You never know somebody's real story anyway. You may think you do. But we never really know what's going on in somebody else's mind or heart that leads them to act in a certain way. So rather than writing stories that cause us pain, grab control, grab power over your own emotional, psychological, spiritual life and start writing stories about how the universe is there for you. How about, instead of this guy almost killed me, how about, oh my God, thank you, universe. If I had been driving 1 mile an hour faster than I was, he would have rammed right into me. I would have died. Wow. Thank you, universe. Thank you, universe, for slowing me down 1/2 mile ago. That actually made me not get rammed by this guy. See, same situation. One way the universe is out to get me, one way the universe is taking care of me. look for ways you can rewrite your own narrative to end your suffering. And the most important piece always is, remember, it's not actually about you. There's actually a whole universe that is unfolding that has nothing to do with you in terms of you as this small individual self. It has everything to do with you as your infinite self. But really, a rock on the road, a rainy day, some guy driving fast, somebody being obnoxious, somebody speaking in a certain way, doing something. It's actually not about us. But suffering is caused because we forget that we're not always in the center. In the world of psychology, there's a little bit of a kind of a jokey colloquialism where we say that depression is the assumption that I am the piece of junk, but usually a slightly different word is used for that, but we'll say here, the piece of junk at the center of the universe. So I am a piece of junk, and I am at the center of the universe. And when you get those two things coming together is when you get depression, in many cases. So it's, I am worthless, useless, this piece of junk, and the universe is out to get me. I'm at the center of the universe. All of that which is happening against me. And this is why spiritual service, seva, volunteer work, deep connection, is actually such a beautiful antidote to so much of that, because not only does it remind us how valuable we are and how much we have to share, but it also takes us out of ourselves and reconnects us with others and makes us remember that it's not actually all about me. Other questions that anyone here may have? Bless you. Any questions from anyone here? Yes. चलो नहीं अभी. Just one second. She's got a question here. They're just getting the mic on, and then we'll come to you. Yes. It's not, hers isn't on. If yours is on, give it to her. Yeah, good. Still not on. No problem. Say it and I will repeat it. It's okay. We'll get our text sorted out by tomorrow.
Wake up tomorrow and be a basketball player.
I think your mic might be working now. He was saying it's working. Yeah, perfect.
So I guess the question is, when we think of the factual limitations that we just have as human beings in this physical planet, like in the physical realm, but then we all have this interconnectedness as well. I'd just love to hear a little bit about how we're still individuals and we have different processes and journeys and learning styles, but we also seem to be aiming for something very similar or in the same thread as part of the same ocean.
Beautiful. So, there's different aspects of who we are. We have a physical body, a size, a shape, a color, a race, a religion, a history, skills and abilities that are associated with that, whether they're directly connected to my size and shape, like the basketball player example, or whether they're simply connected to my history. Have I spent my life learning to play the piano, or have I never sat in front of a piano? Did I grow up in a family where I was pushed to become a math star or not? So skills and abilities are going to be based on experiences that I've had, as well as aspects of the physical body. The brain is also part of the physical body. Now, as we grow, we get different impressions on that through different experiences that we've had, what we grow up in. If I grow up in a family of doctors, or a family of engineers, or a family of business people, it's very likely that I will begin at least a large part of my life sort of thinking, well, that's the direction I'm going to go. I may later decide to change my mind. And you certainly have stories of people who came from completely different types of families who go in those directions. But we tend to have ideas and values and ethics and patterns based on that which we've experienced. That forms our brain, part of our physical body, individual. We want the same thing, but we've had all of these different experiences that are going to give it to us in a different way. Some of us may have been born and raised to believe that happiness is going to come in, a Big Mac and fries. Like if that's what our family was focused on, if it was Friday nights at McDonald's, like this was the family gathering. And every other night of the week was miserable, and mom and dad fought, and we got yelled at or beaten or whatever it might have been. But Friday nights, we all went out for Big Macs and fries, and it was ecstatic. I could have a very deep impression in my mind that happiness comes from a Big Mac and fries, or certainly from food, certainly around a food experience. That's where happiness comes. Somebody else is raised in a family where happiness comes from going shopping, right? Maybe that's how my mom or my dad dealt with their depression and anxiety. They went shopping, bought new things, came home, showed them off, felt better. They'd be miserable, would say, I'm going shopping, would come home and would feel better. Now my brain has actually formed with these, what we call sanskaras, these impressions of where happiness comes from. Maybe every night after the lights were turned out, my brother beat me. or sexually abused me. And I grow up afraid of the dark. In my mind, darkness means pain. So I grow up with this sense of fear of the dark. Now, all of these are what I call of the body, because they are things that have impacted either my physical body, neck down, or the impressions in my brain, the neural networks in my brain, the patterning, the programming, the associations, the pathways in the brain, in the mind, whether we say sanskaras or neural networks or patterns. Physical body, we're all different. Different experiences, different bodies, therefore different skills, different abilities, different paths. But then you have the part which is soul, which is spirit. We've got so many also other ones, but we'll talk just about these two for now. Soul, spirit. That's what I call content. You've got form and you've got content. Form is the physical body. Content is soul and spirit, essence. That's the same. That's the ocean. Each wave is different. Some are big, some are small. Depending on where they crash, there's going to be a lot of white water or no white water. Some of them are kind of normal waves, some are more riptide waves, some are tsunamis. All types of different waves. If we had a surfer in the audience, I'm sure they could give us a whole list of, they've got all kinds of lingo of what type of wave it was. Different forms. But the content is ocean. In the same way, our content is soul, spirit, consciousness, divinity. And when that takes a form, like the drop evaporates and falls somewhere and is returning to the ocean in a specific form, or rising in the ocean as a wave, the content doesn't change. It's still ocean, but the form changes. And so those are two aspects of who we are. And of course we have other what we would call bodies intermediary between those. We won't go into all of them now, but we have subtle body, for example. What we call man, buddhi, ahankar. The mind, the intellect, the ego, aspects of the subtle body. Not quite the physical body and the impressions, not the soul. So on one level, we are different. On another level, we are indistinguishable. On our energetic level, we are interconnected. We are whirling, twirling electrons. Mine may be whirling around atoms that are kind of over here, that travel in this group of atoms. Your electrons are whirling in atoms that travel in that group. But as we come together, our electrons are whirling and twirling, and we're feeling each other energetically. It's a whole other way of connecting. We're neither separate, nor are we indistinguishable from each other like ocean. Energetic body. So there's all these different beautiful levels in which we are individual and one. And living in the awareness of all of that is actually the point and is the opportunity. It's not either or, it's yes and. Yes, I have this body, I have this history, I have these skills, I have these abilities, I have this individual dharma of this body, this history, this family, this race, this religion, this opportunity. And I am soul. I'm spirit. I'm divine. Never separate. Impossible to separate. And those are just a few of the many, many levels of our existence. And we just get deeper and deeper. And our spiritual experience becomes a dance. Because you can go too much in one way or the other way. You can go too much in the it's all soul. And watch a child die of starvation in front of you. And just tell yourself, well, I mean, it's all soul. That's an illusion. It's all perfect. And we can miss this very human experience of knowing that we are meant to feed that child. That we are meant to bend down and give a hand to someone who has fallen and needs a hand to get up. And sometimes we can get overwhelmed in that. Oh my God, there are so many kids to feed. Oh my God, there are so many who have fallen. How can I possibly help them all up? And we get overwhelmed. And that's when we realize, oh wait, it's all soul. It's all spirit. It's all divinity. It's all perfect. And then there's another hungry child. And we feed her. And we move in this dance between having the joy of intersecting with, interacting with the physical creation, the fragrance of flowers, the feeling of rain pouring down on us, mountain air, a bath in Ganga, a hot cup of tea, a cool glass of water, a hug, beautiful music. Interacting with this beautiful creation that we are meant to interact with. And we dance back into the awareness that actually we're not separate from it. It's all soul. They're all waves on the ocean. And then we dive deep into the depths of the ocean where there are no waves. There's no flower, tree, person, this, me. We're all just one. And then we emerge. And we smell the jasmine. And we hear the birds singing. And it's this beautiful dance between the appreciation of the form, the awareness of the responsibility of the form, and the experience and awareness and consciousness of the content that is ultimately formless. Beautiful. And we'll take you in the back as our last question. Yeah.
Good evening, ma'am. My name is Shruti Ghosh. Good evening, ma'am. And good evening, the ladies and gentlemen. I'm coming from the West Bengal in Calcutta. My first question is you. What is the meaning, the difference between the spiritual world and what is the meaning of the difference between universal world? And what is the meaning of the spirit? What is the meaning of blessing? What is the meaning of God?
The universe is tangible. Our senses are not always refined enough to actually feel it. I cannot feel an atom, but it's still tangible. I don't have the subtle enough ability to actually feel it. But there actually is a mass. There are physical components of that atom. A mass, a density, a weight, a size, a shape. The universe on the micro level and the macro level is tangible. It's specific energy. So even you take something like a black hole, okay, which is out there somewhere beyond the universe actually, but now you may not be able to stick your hand in a black hole, but there's a specific form of energy that distinguishes the black hole, for example, from the space around it. I'm not an astronomer, I'm not a physicist, I couldn't give you the details. But I can tell you that on a physical, energetic level, they can say this over here is a black hole. It is separate from this over here, which is space that is not a black hole. So the universe is tangible. Different aspects are distinguished from each other. Planets, stars, nebulas, black holes, all of the things that, we learned in 4th grade astronomy, but I don't remember all of them at the moment. But the universe is made up of so much. And it's physical. It's energy in physical form. Spirit, the spiritual world, doesn't have those individual boxes. It's intangible. Spirit is not something you can touch or hold. You can't distinguish my spirit from your spirit. There's just spirit. Here it is flowing through this physical and energetic experience that I'm going to call my body, my Jivatma. But ultimately, spirit is really one. Indistinguishable. Intangible, indistinguishable. Okay? So spirit is where we are all one, no separate parts. The universe has lots of separate parts to it. God is the creator of it all and the one who pervades the creation. So God is infinite. In the Upanishads it says, Isha vasimidam sarvam, yat kincha jagatyam jagat. There is nothing in the universe not pervaded by the divine. Everything is pervaded by the divine, from the black hole to the planet, to the blade of grass, to the rays of the sun, to me. It's all pervaded by the divine. It's been created by the divine, but created also of the divine. In Hinduism, we believe there is nothing but God. So the universe is God. Spirit is God. It's all God. God is that. That pervades everything. Everything is that. So God is that from which we are inseparable. It's the truth of who we are, and it's the truth of what everything is. And that's why on a spiritual level, God realization is self-realization. It's why the words are used interchangeably. To realize God is to realize myself. To realize myself is to realize God. To love you on the deepest level is to love God. To love God is to love you. Because it's that awareness that it's all one. Okay? Beautiful. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your evenings. I look so forward to being together tomorrow. And so much love to you all.